So, ayun, good morning. I'm Mia Daka from BSN Math. And ang i-discuss natin ngayon ay ang development of affective assessment tools. Ayan. So, methods of assessing affective tools. So, tandaan lang natin palagi na kapag sinabing method, yun ay process. And kapag sinabi namang affective, yun ay emotion. Or sa madaling salita, pag sinabing methods of assessing affective tools, sabihin nito ay kung ano-ano yung mga process na gagawin natin para ma-assess yung emotions ng bata. Ayan. So, meron tayong 3 possible methods of assessing affective traits. At yun nga yung tinatawag na teacher observation, student self-report, and peer ratings. Ayan. So, sinasabi dito na since ang emotions nga ng bata ay mahirap makita, so dapat daw ay must be deduced from behavior or what students say about themselves and others. So, kumbaga ang titingnan natin dito ay yung behavior ng bata. Yan. So, sinasabi din na classroom observation are rarely used. So, sabihin yung classroom observation daw ay bihira lang siyang gamitin. Tapos, ang kadalasan lang ginagamit ay yung self-reports and own observation ng teacher. And so, meron tayong 3 consideration sa pag-assess ng affect or yung emotion ng bata. So, sa number 1, sinasabi dito na ang mga bata daw, usually kapag nag-age ng adolescence, most of the time ay pag sila ay grade 7 na, ay yung behavior daw ng bata or yung attitude ng students ay nababago. Kasi yun nga yung edad kung saan doon na nagsisimulang ma-develop yung curiosity nila. And doon na din na-develop yung mga crush, yan. So, kaya sinasabi dito na yun ay kinukonsider. So, yung emotions ng bata kapag siya adolescence. And so, yung pangalawa naman ay sinasabi lang dito na kapag i-assess daw natin yung emotion ng bata, ay huwag daw tayo mag-focus sa isang method lang. Kasi nga, halimbawa, pag tinanong mo yung bata na halimbawa, kung siya ba ay laging pumapasok, then ang ginamit mo ay self-reports lang. And ang sinagot ng bata, ang response ng bata ay, yes, lagi siyang pumapasok. Pero, based naman sa observation mo bilang teacher, palagi naman siyang absent. So, nagkakaroon ng conflict. So, hindi appropriate yung response ng bata. Kaya sinasabi dito na dapat ay marami kang ginagamit na approach. Yan. So, yung pangatlo naman, ayan, dapat tayo ay magde-decide na tayo kung ano yung type ng assessment yung ibibigay natin. So, kung ito ba ay individual or group data. So, consideration of what the purpose of assessment will influence the method that must be used. So, ayan. Dito na natin naalamin kung ano ba yung appropriate na kailangan nating gawin or gamitin sa kanila. Kung individual ba or group data. Ayan. So, yung una dun sa ating methods para ma-assess natin yung emotions ng students ay yung teacher observation. Ayan. So, sinasabi dito na yung teacher observation daw ay yung essential tool for formative assessment. So, kumbaga ito yung pinakang mahalaga para sa formative assessment. Ayan. So, sinasabi din dito na yung teacher daw ay nakakagawa daw siya ng scientific observation to record students' behavior that indicates the presence of targeted affective traits. Kumbaga, sinasabi lang dito na kumbaga, itong process na ito ay systematic observation para ma-record mo yung student's behavior. Ayan, so, kapag gagamitin daw natin itong observation na ito, so, una dapat natin gawin ay determine in advance how specific behaviors relate to the target or sa students. So, it starts with a vivid definition of the trait, then followed by list of students' behavior and actions that correspond to positive and negative dimensions of the trait. Ayan. So, ito yung mga halimbawa ng positive and negative attitudes towards learning. So, So, ayan. Dun sa positive, so, ayan, meron tayong dalawang behavior. So, yung una ay positive and negative. So, dun sa positive, sinasabi dito na, ito yung mga observations. Halimbawa ay, rarely miss class. Kung yung student ba ay, bihira lang siyang bihira lang siyang umabsent. Sa negative naman ay, frequently absent. So, kung palaging umabsent. Then, next ay, rarely late to class. Sa negative naman ay, frequently tardy. Sa positive naman ay ask lots of questions. So, kung yung student ba ay palagi nagtatanong. Sa negative naman ay bihira lang. Yan. Sa positive din, na sinasabi dito na kung yung students ba ay laging tumutulong sa mga kaklase niya. Sa negative naman ay bihira lang. So, ito yung mga behavior ng bata in terms of positive and negative. Yan. Yan. So, sinasabi dito na yung positive behavior daw ay tinatawag na approach behavior. Tapos, yung negative naman ay tinatawag na avoidance behavior. Ayan. So, yung positive behavior or yung approach behavior, ito daw ay result in direct or frequent and intense contact. So, pag sinabi naman nating avoidance behavior, ito naman ay less direct or less frequent and less intense contact. After nating ma-develop yung mga behavior na yun, dadako naman tayo sa unstructured and structured observation. So, pag sinabing unstructured or anecdotal, ito daw ay tinatawag na making summative judgment. So, summative. Ito daw ay normally ay open-ended and hindi mo na kailangan ng checklist and rating skills. Rating scale. Yan. So, everything observed is just simply recorded. Ayan. So, pag sinabi namang structured observation, ay iba siya doon sa unstructured. Kasi ito ay parang matrabaho siya. Kumbaga dito kasi sa structured observation ay, kumbaga gagawa ka na nung specific na observation, tapos checkan mo na lang. Unlike doon sa unstructured na, ililista mo isa-isa. So, kung ano yung na-observe mo. So, dito, magpo-provide ka na ng specific na mga response ng students, yung mga behavior, tapos checkan mo na lang. Ayan. So, ayan. So, ito yung mga things na kailangan natin i-consider bilang teacher sa observation, pagdating sa observation. So, ayan. Meron tayong makikita dyan na yan. Avoid personal bias. Halimbawa ay, hindi porket favorite mo yung student ay puro positive na ilalagay mo. Ayan. So, meron din dito sinasabi ay record immediately the observation. So, i-record mo agad. So, kapag na-observe mo na halimbawa ay palagi siyang ma-absent, i-record mo na agad. Kasi pag pinatagal mo pa yun, maaaring malimutan mo. Ayan. So, next naman, yung pangalawa natin ay student report. So, yung student report naman ay para siyang casual conversation or interview. Then, pwede rin siyang written questionnaire or survey. Yan. So, dun muna tayo mag-focus sa student interview. So, yan. Meron daw tayong iba't ibang paraan para malaman natin yung response ng students. So, kagaya nga ng interviews, group interviews, discussion, casual conversations, para ma-assess natin yung emotions ng bata. Ayan. So, may similarity ito doon sa observation. Kaya lang, pagdating kasi sa interview ay mas malalim. Kumbaga, meron ng contact yung teacher sa student. Kumbaga, ini-interview mo yung student para malaman mo kung ano yung kanyang emotions or yung behavior niya. Tapos, sinasabi din dito na kapag i-interviewin daw yung bata ay dapat daw ay kunin mo muna yung trust niya. Kasi, kapag hindi mo kinuha yung trust niya, yung mga sagot niya, yung i-response niya sa'yo ay maaaring hindi totoo. So, unang-unang gagawin natin is, kunin mo muna yung trust ng bata para makapag-share siya. Yan. Kasi sabi, kapag wala daw trust, yun nga, yung mga sagot niya ay maaaring hindi totoo. Kasi, baka iniisip niya na natatakot lang siya sa'yo, kaya hindi siya makakapag-share yung response niya. Ayan. So, yung advantage naman ng interviews, syempre, bilang teacher, ay mas malalaman mo yung totoong dahilan. Kumbaga, hindi mo lang basta na-observe, kundi nalaman mo talaga yung dahilan. Halimbawa, tinanong mo siya kung bakit siya laging late or laging uma-absent, doon mo malalaman yung totoong dahilan. Kumbaga, mas malalim. So, hindi lang basta na-observe mo lang na lagi siya na-late, ganyan. So, may dahilan pa yun. So, yan, mas malalim daw yung interview. Yan. So, yung next naman ay surveys and questionnaire. So, this time naman ay hindi na siya interview. So, true written naman siya. Yun nga yung survey and questionnaire. Ayan. So, meron daw 2 types ang questionnaire and survey. So, yun ay constructed response format and selected response format. Yan. So, pag sinabing constructed response format, ito daw ay straightforward. So, kumbaga, direct mong tinatanong yung students about sa kanilang yung emotions by responding to simple statement or questions. And pwede rin na gawin mo dito ay pa-essay. Tapos yung sasagot nila ay dapat ay mahabang paragraph para mas malaman mo yung dahilan talaga. Mas malalim. So yung essay dapat ay mahaba, hindi yung ilang sentence lang ganyan. Yeah, so next ay selected response format. So sinasabi dito na meron daw tayong 3 ways para ways of implementing the selected response format in assessing effective learning outcomes. At yung 3 iyon ay rating scales, semantic, different scales, and checklist. So itong ways daw na ito ay will be discussed in detail in the succeeding part of this chapter. So yung advantage daw nito is selected response format is that it assures anonymity. It is an important aspect when considering the traits that are personal, such as values and self-concept. These self-response formats are considered to be an effective way of collecting information. Ayan. So, ito yung halimbawa ng checklist. Checklist for using student self-reports or assess affect. So, ayan. So, tingnan nyo na lang. Number 1, I keep measures focus on specific affective traits. Ayan. So, tingnan nyo na lang. So, yung number 3 natin ay yung pinaka-last ay peer rating or appraisal. So, pag sinabi naman natin peer rating, ito daw ay least common method among these 3 methods. So, ito yung pinaka-least. Ayan. So, because of the nature of learner, they try to do always take this activity seriously, and most often than not they are subjective in conducting this peer rating. So these 2 methods of conducting peer ratings are guess who approach and sociometric approach. So this approach can be used together with observation and self-reports to strengthen the assessment of interpersonal and classroom environment targets. Ayan. So yung una ay utilizing the different methods of combination of methods in assessing affect. So each of the 3 methods, observation, self-report, and peer ratings that was discussed previously, has its own advantage and disadvantage. In choosing for which method or methods to use, consider the following factors. So ito yung mga factors. Yung una ay type of affect that need to be assessed. A general reaction to something or someone can best be gathered through observation. However, if attitude components is to be diagnosed, a self-report will give a better information. So, observation can be supported by peer rating method if the target is socially oriented affect. So, yung pangalawa naman ay if the information needed is from group or individual response, and yung number 3 ay if group response and tendencies are needed. Selected response self-report method is suited because it assures anonymity and is easily scored. So, madali daw siyang i-score. Ayan. So, yung pang-apat naman ay the use of information if the attention of the assessment, effective assessment, is to utilize the result of supporting input to grading. Then, multiple approach is necessary, and be mindful of the possibility of having fake results from self-reports and even from peer judgment. Or sa madaling salita, kapag pinagsama-sama natin ito, The choices of method or combining these methods is dependent upon the context, targets, and the level of comfort in utilizing any particular methods or combination of methods. And so, sinasabi lang dito na yung methods na gagamitin natin ay nakadepende pa rin dun sa respondents natin, sa students. So, kung ano yung methods na gagamitin natin, dapat ay appropriate siya dun sa students. Ayan, para makuha natin yung result. Ayan, so, tapos na tayo dun sa methods kung paano natin ma-assess yung emotions ng student. So, dun na tayo sa pangalawa, tinatawag na affective assessment tools. Ayan, so the affective domain encompasses behaviors in terms of attitudes, beliefs, and feelings. Sets of attitude, beliefs, and feelings comprise one's values. There are various assessment tools that can be used to measure affect, and isa na doon ay yung checklist. So, familiar naman tayo sa checklist, di ba? Kasi ito naman ina-encounter na natin. Yeah, so, yung checklist daw ay isa sa mga effective formative assessment strategies to monitor specific skills, behavior, or dispositions of individual or group students. Ayan. So, ito yung halimbawa ng checklist. Ayan, tingnan nyo na lang. Next ay criteria for checklist. Ayan. So, ito naman yung mga criteria. Sinasabi dito na in planning for criteria that will be used in checklist, the criteria must be aligned with the outcomes that need to be observed and measured. Generally, criterion is defined as a standard that serve as reference for judgment or decision. Ayon kay Popham 1999, explained that when teachers set criteria, the main emphasis is to use these criteria in making judgment regarding the adequacy of students' response, and the criteria will influence the way the response is scored. So, yan. Bakit naman daw natin kailangan gumamit ng checklist? So, checklist should be utilized because this. So, una ay make a quick and easy way to observe and record skills, criteria, and behavior prior to final test or summative evaluation. So, yung pangalawa, provide information to teachers if there are students who need help so as to avoid failing. Then, 3 naman ay provide formative assessment of students' learning and help teachers monitor if students are on track with the desired outcome. So, ito nga, kaya natin siya ginagamit dahil ay to make a quick and easy way to observe and record skills. So, para mas madali nating ma-observe and record yung skills ng bata. Yeah, so provide information to teachings if there are students who need help so as to avoid failing. So, para malaman natin yung mga estudyante na kailangan talaga ng tulong para hindi sila bumagsak. Sa inyong pangatlo naman ay provide formative assessment of students' learning and help teachers monitor if the teachers are on the track with the desired outcomes. Ayan. So, yun lang yung report ko and sana may natutunan kayo.